Hello, so the video for me teaching is going to be an example of the worksheet that I would give to the kids, as well as the workout that we would do in this particular situation. So here are the terms that the students would have to know, and we would go over these terms at the beginning of each phase. So we have already completed this phase, and to record them in class would probably be something that wouldn't have met the standards of this particular assignment. However, I can briefly go over with you how I introduce these words and the workout to the students. So the first word is repetition, which is the amount of a particular exercise that I want you to do, followed by the word set, which is how many times I want you to do those reps. Of course, weight is the resistance that we have. And like I said, we discuss these every single phase. And then at the end of the phase and at the beginning of each phase, we discuss these terms. So that way we are comfortable and confident in knowing these words prior to the end of the semester. The rest between each set, we like to talk to students about how long we rest. Right now, we rest about 1 minute and 30 seconds. But like it says here, you can rest for up to 4 minutes if you are lifting solely for powerlifting. Volume, which is, excuse me, how many exercises that you do. And we try to keep our volume semi light because we are trying to train two body parts at once. So we're doing a lot more compound movements, which is the next term. So we don't have much volume in our course, at least for this particular phase. Compound exercises are things such as our power 1 rep max, benching, squats, and power clean, and they use more than one joint. Isolation exercises are things that we use to solely isolate one muscle group or joint. So for instance, like tricep push downs, hamstring curls, things of that nature. We don't really do supersets in this particular class because this is a class for athletic weight training. However, supersets are utilizing 2 or more workouts instead of resting. Positive phase. So when you are lifting a weight, this is the eccentric motion, which is the scientific term, but it's generally the portion of the lift where you are loading the weight down. And then the negative phase, pushing the weight up. And then the negative phase is where you're lowering the weight down. My apologies. Sticking point, this is where you lose momentum and you try to stand up on a squat or push through on a bench and it just kind of gets stuck. So this strength phase, we are focusing a lot on this sticking point. So this will be a vocabulary word that the students really become familiar with during this phase. Contraction, of course, is when your muscles tighten. Tempo is, we don't use tempo in this class, but if we were to do tempo, it would be, like I said, it's 2 seconds on the positive phase, so the pushing up, and then really slowing it down on the negative phase, so controlling the weight all the way down slowly and counting to 3 and then exploding up for 2 seconds on the positive phase. Our body split, the splits that we're doing this particular phase are both upper and lower days. So we will work with both. And spotter is somebody who helps you when you get to that sticking point or failure. And as we mentioned before, we also know the planes of the body. This is the vocabulary sheet that I hand out to the kids. Once again, and it breaks down the planes of the body that we work in. Because we are athletes, we want to try to utilize all of the planes of the body. Well, at least the major 3. So the sagittal, which is left to right, or front to back, divides the body left to right. The frontal, which divides it from front to back. Excuse me, I got it all backwards. Sagittal, which divides, so if you took a line and split it down the middle, it would split the body into right and left halves. The coronal or frontal, which if you were to take a line and draw it down the body, it would split the body in the front to back. And then transverse, which is if you were to take a line and divide the body in half, it would be upper and lower. And those are the vocabulary terms that I pass out at the beginning of the year, and we revisit every single phase that we do. Now, for the actual workout, there is we have blocks up here in the corner. So we have spring, which is the very first block. And then we have block 2, what the students are on now, where we have the actual workouts, the reps, the sets, and the percentages, so the weight that the students will be using. So with this, I will take these workouts, these exercises, and along with the vocabulary terms, and I will have the students at the beginning of the semester take these terms and place them on the actual workout chart that I print out for them as well. We also tag this and put this into our Google Classroom / Canvas so that the kids have access to this as well and can look at the workout. So this is after our first assessment. Once again, it is split into lower and upper splits since we only have 2 class periods a week. And then we end the semester with a max week. So that is just a rundown of how these classes go. As far as classes in general, it is the typical weight room type class. We have partners, and those partners are established here, where I have created a document that tells the students which groups they are in. So along on the side of the wall, they have these this attached to the wall by their workout and by the percentage chart, and the kids know that they are in their group, and then they rotate in this direction. So I will blow the whistle 1 time for person number 1, twice for person number 2, 3 times for person number 3, and 4 times for person number 4. If there is a 5th person, 4 and 5 will go in the same whistle. So I make whistle number 4 a little bit longer. Each person has a minute and 30 seconds to complete their set, and 4 has 2 minutes and 15 seconds to complete their set. So that way we can get both 4 and 5 into the equation. And that is a brief rundown of how the class goes.